This is our 10th year on YouTube.
We've known each other since before the internet.
Before color TV.
Before YouTube had a partnership program.
And now there's young people watching right now just going like, what? These guys are so old.
These are some dust buckets.
A friend of ours, a good friend of ours named... He is a writer on Daredevil Born Again Season 1.
This lied to us. What is up, homies? Welcome to the first episode of the Heroes Reforged podcast.
Ow!
That is right, Heroes Reforged. We're going to talk about the name. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be doing this year. Reintroduce you to, I guess 2025 is going to be like some new things, some things that we've been already doing. But I think right now, because we haven't put out a podcast episode in over a year, it might be a good opportunity for us to reintroduce ourselves and what Heroes Reforged is.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Adam Hlavac, and I'm joined here, as always and forever, until this blue marble in the sky dies, with Hector Navarro and Agustin Rios.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of people obviously ask us and talk to us about wanting to do another podcast or bring the podcast back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of reasons for why we changed the name.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But to just talk about Heroes Reforged and what Heroes Reforged is, you know, this is our 10th year being on YouTube. What the hell?
Yeah.
That is insane.
It's wild.
10 years of being on YouTube.
Yeah, shout out to that really nice fan who I met yesterday, Noah, who is a production assistant at Marvel Studios, was like, man, I've been watching you since middle school. I was like,
I want to throw up.
Turning to dust. Like, oh, cool. Great.
Thanks. Now you're a doctor? Whoa.
Yeah. No,
Cool.
he was like, hey, I just got out of screening of Captain America Brave New World. I'm excited for people to watch it.
Yeah.
And I felt so old.
Jesus Christ.
Because this was a full grown man. And
An adult.
That's crazy.
But yeah, we've been doing YouTube stuff for a long time, and who are we, you ask? We are first and foremost
the CzechXicans.
Well, no,
Formerly known as the CzechXicans.
we're friends, and we met each other a very long time ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And it started with Augustine and I met in college, right? So Hector and Agustin
Around 2004-ish.
have known each other since.
Oh,
that's
that
when
long?
That's when
Yeah.
you started. I met you like 06.
Oh.
Because you
Was it?
started the program earlier than
Oh,
I did.
yeah.
And so then I came in because I graduated high school 05.
Okay.
And now there's
Then I
young
met
people
you
watching
06.
right now just going like, what? These guys are so
These
old.
are some dust
Yeah,
buckets.
dude. Yeah, dude. We've known each other since before the internet, since before television, since before radio.
Yeah.
Since before comic books were invented.
Before color TV.
Color TV.
Before YouTube had a partnership program.
God damn.
Yep.
So we met in college, and then after college, we met Adam at our basically first job.
First professional visual effects
First
job.
professional visual
Yes,
effects job.
we're working in
Because
visual
I had
effects.
several jobs before that.
For sure. But yeah, they're like
In and out king over here.
the fresh out of college job.
Yeah.
And we got to work on a lot of movies, some good, some bad, like everybody who works on movies, some good, some bad.
Mm-hmm.
People will be like, what'd you work on? I'll be like,
Look at our IMDb.
go look at it.
We worked on a lot of hits and a lot of
Fury Road,
a lot of
Yeah.
stinkers.
Soldier. Yeah.
first Avengers movie, Iron Man 3, but then
Yeah.
also like, you ever seen the Smurfs?
Yeah.
You ever seen Green Lantern?
You remember Green Hornet in 3D?
Green
Hell yeah,
Nobody
dude.
saw Green Hornet in 3D.
So we-
Pirates 4?
yeah.
Yeah, Dead Man's... No, that was Dead Man Tell No Tales? No, Pirates 4 was... Oh my God, it doesn't matter.
No, y'all didn't work on... I worked on Pirates 4. Y'all didn't work on Pirates 4.
was
I
on
worked on, like,
Stranger
2
Tales.
jobs.
Oh,
On
okay.
Stranger
Stranger
Tales.
Tides.
Yeah, Stranger Tides.
Stranger Tides. Yeah,
On
yeah.
Stranger Tides?
I think so. It doesn't matter.
Something like
The
that.
next
Neither here
one
nor
was
there.
Dead Men Tell No Tales, but in Europe and other territories around the world, it was called Salazar's Revenge,
Yes.
which is a way better title.
Yeah.
It is. That is a good one.
Shout out to Salazar's Revenge. That was what's his name's character, the
Javier
bad guy,
Bardem.
Javier. So anyway, the point is, we worked on movies. We got to work on movies, turning regular movies into 3D movies.
Yep.
That's going to come up a lot because we
It will.
love 3D.
You should see our Blu-ray
movies.
collections.
Mm-hmm.
But we then, when we were working at these jobs 10 years ago, we would go on lunch break. First of all, we would listen to podcasts and listen to shows all day. We were at our desk for 8, 10, 12 hours a day sometimes, working on these
Sometimes.
movies.
You worked 8-hour days?
All the time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
How dare you?
That's
I know.
nice.
And then we would hang out at lunch and be like, just talking shit and doing what we're doing and talking about the movies that we love and the stuff we're watching. And then we'd be like, you know, it feels like there's not this vibe enough with the stuff that we're watching. So we very arrogantly, egotistically decided to put ourselves on the internet.
Yeah.
Because we were like, we think this would be fun and we think we'd be good at it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to 10 years later, here we are, baby.
Oh my
Homies.
God. We're still
Homies
at
for
it.
life.
In the studio, baby.
Yeah. And then, you know, obviously the pandemic hit and we were used to doing everything together in the same room.
Yeah.
And that kind of went away for a while.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out how to do everything remotely, which was a fun challenge.
Yeah.
And because of that challenge, one of the things that we started getting into, which we were not doing up to that point, was reacting to TV shows.
No. Yeah. We had been strictly weekly news.
Yeah. And we always told ourselves, we're not going to do shows because they're too big of a commitment. It's too much work.
Yeah.
And then when Marvel finally was able to come back with WandaVision, we thought maybe this is the time to jump into this. And it really changed what we were doing at that point. Because like you were saying, we were only doing trailer reactions, movie reviews, news, and doing series reactions. I think kind of like unlocked something for us where we were like, oh, we can re-engage the media that we love in a whole different way. That's really fun for us.
Yeah.
And we get to experience it together. So it was just a nice opportunity for us to just come back and do something different while also still having fun doing it.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times when you have to make those changes, it's not necessarily fun.
Well, we also
You're
all had
forced to do it.
We also all had to agree to do it and like it.
Yeah.
You know? Like
absolutely.
I
we would never agree to. We would never do it and be like, one of us would be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Like if the three of us aren't in on a project and we're like, hey, we're probably not going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys forced me to watch Squid Game, so I think
that was the only thing we forced you to watch. Actually,
maybe.
You're right.
And maybe Game of Thrones. I don't know.
You're out on the next one, and Abby's in on that.
Maybe
one.
sure. Yeah. We'll swap out. My girlfriend will do it.
That was the big thing. And so when we started talking about back then doing a podcast, it very much, the first conversation was, well, we have to do it in the same room.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough that you had office space that we could do it. And that was interesting because that also evolved and, you know, then the strikes happened and we were kind of on and off the whole thing.
Yeah.
We were doing it only once a month and all that kind of stuff. So I think with this year, you know, we had a whole meeting a couple weeks back where we sat down, we thought, and we started to basically like reassess the things that we were doing and whether or not the podcast was something that we wanted to tackle again. And the conversation of like, well, where do we do it? How do we do it? How often are we going to do it?
So we built this studio from scratch.
From the ground up.
And crazy, we've also been renting it out to other comedians. No, I'm kidding. No, shout out to producer Mark. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. We're here. We're in person is the announcement.
Yes.
And the announcement is we're doing this every week now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hold on to your asses because we're coming back every
Guess what?
week.
We're having an In-N-Out special. I'm going to demystify and myth bust everything from In-N-Out because I worked there for so long.
That's going to be
We're
great.
going to do all kind. This is going to present a lot of opportunities for us to do a lot of stuff that we like. The in-person stuff in my office space was great.
It was.
But I feel like having a studio presents us with like more freedom to do a little bit more stuff and like not have to worry about stuff, take a little bit of the burden off. And I think this is going to be cool.
So very happy.
And there's other stuff in the works.
Yes.
You know,
we'll talk
that
about some of it.
we'll talk about as stuff goes along.
Yeah. And a big discussion was, you know, so originally when we started the podcast, we started on the Heroes Reforged channel, but it was the CzechXicans podcast. And then after doing it for a year, we started talking about, well, what if the podcast had its own identity and we put it on its own channel?
Yep.
The challenging thing that maybe we didn't think about was that no one can spell CzechXicans. So that
up here on the board. No, it's
so that became really challenging for people. And but to your point though, we never really had any signage that really showed people how to do it. And we would see it all the time on Twitter, on Instagram, in our own Discord,
everywhere.
On Patreon. Hey, loving the CzechXicans podcast. Not one single person spelled it the right way.
Every variation of the spelling.
It was so tough. And, you know, I think because of that, and because when people would search for Heroes Reforged podcast, that didn't come up.
right.
The numbers just weren't there for us. So when we were coming into 2025, the thought was, okay, let's take it back. Let's make it the Heroes Reforged podcast again.
People can spell that.
Yeah.
So
if you can't spell that,
I mean,
I got no hope for you.
I mean,
people don't even like when some people meet me on the street. They don't even know my name. They're like, "Heroes Reforged." I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, cool. You know.
Every once in a while, we'll get a call like, Hector. No, I'm 5 feet taller, but thanks.
Heroes Reforged though.
Adam is 10 feet tall, and I'm 5 feet tall. He is twice my height.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the idea was that we would bring it back to sort of just what we're known for or known as, which is Heroes Reforged. And it's just easy. It's clean. When you search for Heroes Reforged, you'll see our reactions. You'll see our podcast. And it's all going to live on the main channel now.
We still are, for the record, though, we still are 2 Mexicans and 1 Czech.
Yes, that has not changed.
Still a fact.
Yeah.
That is still an unavoidable fact.
I still love my pork schnitzel, my mashed potatoes, and my potato salad. You know, so don't forget.
We need some legacy
where we come from.
CzechXicans merch, though.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll make some.
For the old school fans, we'll have some
Yeah.
CzechXicans. I'm still hoping for some chanclas, some CzechXicans chanclas.
Good news.
Because that's cross-cultural. That's
Yeah,
cross-cultural.
absolutely.
That's for everybody.
So I think that's kind of the most important sort of stuff at the top for people who are like, I don't understand
That's the main announcement.
how this is what's going on here.
We're here. We're going to be here in person together, being able to touch each other once a week. We're talking about pop culture. We're talking about everything that's coming up. And this is a really interesting year for a lot of stuff that we're into. We're into like superhero movies. We're into, so it's a big year for like Marvel and DC and these kinds of brands. It's a weird and challenging time in entertainment right now. It's a weird and challenging time where like we have a bunch of friends that are constantly out of work. I'm constantly out of work, but so as things are like evolving and changing, we want to talk about it. We want to talk about, and we want to also, I think we want to keep doing the thing that I think we've always done, which is just like not be assholes. So we're going to talk about the stuff that we love and share the stuff that we love. Right before we started rolling, we were asking Augustine, like, what games are you playing right now? And he's a gamer, dude, straight up. And he was rattling off all these games. I'm like, that's cool. I want to hear him talk about
absolutely.
So
and because of the SAG-AFTRA and the WGA strikes, there was a lot of projects that were delayed that are not coming, that are coming out now. One of the big ones is obviously Daredevil Born Again. That was supposed to come out, I think, last year, and now delayed. And so there's a lot of that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff happening. So
no, I have a present for you. I have a present for you right now.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll just do it now.
Do it.
I was going to wait to the end.
No. Do it right now.
Wait to the end, but I'm going to
I'm excited.
So we have a friend of ours, a good friend of ours named Omar Najam, who's a writer.
Omar.
And shout out to Omar.
Can you say on what?
I think so.
Sorry, Omar. We'll cut it.
Just leave it out for now.
Just leave it out for now. We'll check. No. We'll check with him.
Yeah.
Because
and then bleep it out. Adam will bleep it out later if we can't say it.
At this point, we're going to be able to figure it out.
Yeah,
People are going to be able to figure it out because of this horrible segue.
Yes.
So maybe we could leave Omar out if we need to. I'll check with him, but I'm pretty sure it's okay.
Yeah.
Because he is a writer on Daredevil Born Again season 1.
Okay.
And that show's about to come out. The trailers come out. I believe he's on the staff. And what he did was I got a chance to hang out with him. He told me no spoilies, which was very nice of him.
Great.
But he did say, hey, I have presents for you and the boys.
Well, what also did he say before that, though? About our trailer reaction?
Were you there?
Oh. He did say that.
Pimp us out a little bit here.
When we did when we filmed ourselves watching the Daredevil Born Again trailer that just came out, he said that he went into the office next day and it was being shared by everybody in the office.
Excellent.
Yeah.
They were like stoked on it.
Very cool.
And that they liked our
job.
discussion about the show.
And can I just say,
that
is not the first time our trailer reactions have been shared around the Disney offices.
Hell no.
That's right.
I've been to screenings and I met someone who was trying to direct me where to go.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, everyone in our office has been sharing your guys' trailers. I'm like,
yeah.
Cool.
Invite us
cool.
to more.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
In, please.
Come on.
Cool.
So,
Yeah. Next time one of these shows needs like a trio of same looking nerds talking about like, did you guys see what She-Hulk did on the news? It could be us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put us in the show.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but
Omar was nice enough to go, and you're living a good life when like you're hanging out with one nerd friend who's like working on a cool nerd thing.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I have a present for you and your boys. Send this back to the boys.
Damn.
I went, this is cool that this is happening. So I have a couple things. So first of all,
it's like Christmas.
it is. It's
It's
like
a great way to start the
that's for you.
episode
That's
1.
for you. Here you go.
I belong.
He gave me these.
Oh, very nice.
To the Merry Marvel Marching Society, a little pin.
Very cool.
I belong to the Merry. This is an old school Marvel comics.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like fan community thing. This
looks
great.
like an old school pin.
Yeah.
I don't know the reference.
It's not. I'm sure it's not from the '60s, but the reference is to a thing that Marvel Comics did back in the day. They created the Merry Marvel Marching Society. It's their fan club. So people would write in, I want to become a member of this. And then they would send you stuff, the MMMS, Merry Marvel Marching Society. And there's a little postcard with like the thing on it, like, we want you for the Merry, So it's just old school Marvel stuff.
What is it?
But that's not it.
MMMS?
MMMS.
No mames.
No mames.
He also handed me these. We each get one. This is a very special edition comic book.
Ooh.
You get one.
Oh.
And you get one.
Ooh.
This is
this hand drawn?
Dude, this is a variant cover.
That's rad.
New York Comic Con exclusive like variant that has the Born Again TV show art that's going to appear in the show.
Very cool.
For just the cover of this comic.
Wow.
So again, I say again, you're living a good nerd life.
Yeah.
When you're hanging out with your homie and he's like, hey, take these back to your boys.
Wow.
Very cool. Thank you, Omar.
That's awesome.
Thank you
Very
so
nice.
much.
Thank
This
you
is
so much.
fantastic.
We'll have
this.
Omar on because
I would love
I
that.
have not seen Omar at this point, maybe in 2 years or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I would love to just sit down and
I don't think
even
I've
if it's
seen-
not about Daredevil, just to sit and chat.
I don't think I've seen Omar since the Geek and Sundry days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Christ.
Like,
you
way,
need to
way, way
leave your
back
house
then.
more, brother.
You know I leave my house all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm always out.
It's been that's the thing too with the pandemic and the strikes and stuff.
Yeah.
We've had fairly, man, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but fairly limited engagement with a lot of people who we used to spend a lot of time with.
Yeah.
So here's the other sad but cool thing about this endeavor. And Mark knows what we're talking about. We can softly announce, nothing hard yet. No, this is not a hard announcement. But
What are we announcing?
what are you?
Our OnlyFans.
Scaring me?
Because you're talking about we need to get out of the house more.
Yeah.
So we're in the talks, in the process of maybe we want to do some live events
Yes.
here and around LA.
Yes.
So that's another thing we want to do 2025. We want to meet cool people. We want to meet viewers of ours or fans or
Maybe
members of
have some
community.
screenings. We'll watch some
Maybe.
movies together.
Yeah.
Maybe watch some movies. Maybe do some cool stuff.
Yes. And
So anyway, yeah.
well, and the big motivation I feel like behind that is yes, getting out of the house, but also we do have a lot of people that come up to us or on social media will say, we'd love to see you at this con.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of time, it's easier said than done because obviously flying to conventions is very expensive.
Yep.
And if we're going to go do a con, we want to participate in the convention somehow, having a panel or hosting something. And those opportunities are not necessarily always there. So the next best thing is for us to do something here locally in LA.
Bring the con to us. We'll bring the con.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we have a lot of people who are in between San Diego and LA and probably even more, north and stuff, who are fans of ours because we see them at studios, strangely enough, but it's screenings and events all the time.
Yeah.
The amount of times, like you're saying, we get stopped and it's like, oh, it's Heroes Reforged. So there are people here who I hope would love to come hang out with us and let's make it happen.
You know what would be great? Because also here's the other thing too, like we've lived in Los Angeles for a long time. I live in Los Angeles. I love this city and it has been tough the past couple of years to see what it's gone through. What I love is how many people I know who will go to bat for this city.
Oh yeah.
When other non-LA citizens will talk shit, everyone's
they're
like
boo,
no,
and we're like,
I'm like, hang on.
Hold up.
So you know what would be awesome though is if we did some sort of live event, and then that was like the cause for somebody who watches our stuff to like pull the trigger and go, you know what? I've been meaning to take a vacation to LA.
Yeah.
I want to go to Disneyland. I want to go check out touristy stuff. Now I'm going to do it around the time you're doing your thing. I'll be there, but I'm also going to do other. What I'm saying is don't come to LA just to see us.
There's a lot more to see.
But if we're here, put it in your plan.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I also want to use this podcast now that we have a space to invite people over.
Yes.
I think that's going to be really cool. I feel like we do have a small group of creators, YouTube creators around us.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like we could have so many more. And I feel like we've kind of siloed ourselves over the past 10 years.
Sure.
And so this is a good opportunity to be like, hey, hey, friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been in the same circle for 10 years. Come talk on our show.
I mean, just today we ran into Andre Meadows. And at one point we were talking about Titans with him.
Yeah.
Just on a podcast only thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember?
That?
This is already
A long
like
time
6
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Titans, the live action show that was
on
like
DC
the
Universe.
Fuck Batman
You remember-
show.
you remember that one?
God. Yeah, of course
dude.
I do.
So it's been a long time since we've even done anything collaboratively with people like that. And I would love to have Andre come on and just chat about, he loves Ninja Turtles, we love Ninja Turtles. There's a lot of people that we know that we're friends with who are creators where we have a lot of common interests.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really just us three talking to each other.
Yeah.
But it'd be so nice to just be able to have other friends come on to talk about
That's
that
already
stuff.
in the works too. We already have folks who like we've been telling, hey, we're doing this new podcast, and they were like, can I come? Can I be a guest? Can I come hang out?
Yeah.
And vice versa, and we'll share. And
I want to talk to Bobby Kirks again.
Oh,
When
that'd
are we
be
doing
great.
that?
That's Hollywood
let's
slang
bring
for
him back.
Robert Kirkman.
If you saw
creator
that,
of
Bobby
The Walking
Kirks.
Dead.
that came up in the last time we talked to him, right?
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like a joke we had inside. So if you saw that, you know what we're talking about. But that
Remember
video
we-
only has like 1,000 views.
We ran into him at a screening for Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah,
months
that's
ago,
right.
Last year. Yeah, that was great.
It was nice that he remembered.
Very nice.
Yeah, and
very nice.
Yeah. And he said, Hector, you got my number. And I'm like, Hector, why haven't you used that yet?
I did. Well, he didn't pick up. No, I'm kidding. He would pick up. No, I did not call him. That was very, very nice. But
the other thing to also let people know, if you're looking for ways to support Heroes Reforged, obviously liking and subscribing on YouTube is a big way to do it. Leaving comments, the more that you engage with our material, the higher it gets seen by everybody. But also, for people who are listening on the podcast, like the podcast,
audio specific, right?
Audio experience
only.
people.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys leave a review.
Yes.
Because the more reviews, obviously, the more it'll get bumped up for people.
Yeah.
And we really, really are going to do our best this year to be incredibly consistent with the podcast. Like you were saying, do it every single week. Talk about new movies, talk about old movies, talk about the shows and things that we're reacting to. So it's going to be really important for people to put an effort in to talk about the podcast, review it, and just get more eyes on it. We have several thousands of followers just on Spotify.
Yeah.
But I would love to bump those numbers up and just let them grow and grow and grow every week. Because honestly, as we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years, the creative landscape and how marketing in the film industry has changed. They look at podcasts, they look at TikTok. So we're just really trying to engage with those platforms a lot more. And you're going to be seeing a lot of clips from our shows on all kinds of social media channels as well. So we're just trying to be everywhere.
We're just trying to keep up with the times, man.
All over the place.
We didn't realize how much the social media game had changed.
Yeah. Just being on YouTube is not enough anymore. And we're seeing that just even with the way studios interact with us and the things that they do and don't invite us to. It's changed a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. So to kind of stay on top of things, we have to be active a lot more.
Yeah, guys, we have gray in our beards. Okay. You have to be patient with us.
I was driving with him today and he was talking to me and I looked over and I was like, this motherfucker got gray in his temples.
You got gray on your temples.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he's turning into Reed Richards.
Yes, I'm stressed every day. What do you talk? Of course, I've been Reed Richards.
I know.
I've been
That's the world we're living in, folks.
So, but here's some fun announcements too, just to let people know what we have recently.
Really quickly.
Go ahead.
Patreon.
Yes.
Another huge way to support us.
Yes.
Uncut reactions for all the movies and shows that we're watching.
What have we just watched that we're going to throw on there?
Kraven the Hunter.
Spoiler alert. That movie is very bad.
Whoa.
Hey, I will say it's not as bad as the other
it's
ones.
Not a trash. It's not dumpster fire.
Listen,
at the very beginning,
organized.
At the very beginning of that movie, I called it a trash heap.
Yeah.
No.
By the time I finished watching it, I realized it was not a trash heap.
It's middle of the road.
What did we say? It was a well-organized dumpster in the corner.
With a lock on it.
Yeah, with a lock where it needs to be. It's not a dumpster fire. It is like, oh, raccoons can't get in here, but it is garbage. But it's in this. It's like, where's
not stinky garbage?
Yeah. It's not stinky.
A little bit
stinky.
of.
Next week, the garbage truck's gonna come and eat very easily. Be able to pick it up where it needs to go. Anyway, but honestly though, that's a great point of like, I said earlier, I'm like, we're not just assholes. Okay, hang on a minute. Hear me out. We also
rewind.
The fun thing about watching stuff together, the three of us, and when we record ourselves, and when you do an uncut reaction, meaning we don't edit it and put it on YouTube, the full 2 hours of that movie and us. We put
uncircumcised version.
The girthy uncircumcised version, uncut, is on the,
I knew
the
that
Patreon. It did. But like,
I'm such a cheap date.
You can throw that on. You can sit and watch us. You cube the movie on your own and you watch along with us. But like, you can see how we talk through the movie.
Yeah.
The beginning of the movie, I was like, this is honestly not that bad. Like, action was good, interesting, intriguing. Where are we going?
A little bland, but it was.
And then it got to the flashbacks, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not connecting with the story. We talk about why.
Yeah.
It's just we're not reveling in being jerks, because then the movie we watched after that, Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. That movie,
masterpiece.
That movie,
that was Stellar Skarsgård.
That was Stellar Skarsgård, dude.
Yeah.
Really, if you had seen it before, you went to the London
at 50%
premiere,
like brain capacity.
Yeah.
No, I was jet lagged.
Yeah, you were
like
jet lagged,
a mother. And I honestly, while I was watching part of the movie, I was like, oh, I don't remember this. I was like, oh, damn. I really knocked out.
Even when you came back from London from the premiere, you were like, how was the movie? You're like, it was cool. And you barely said anything about it.
That's true.
And we're watching the movie and I'm going, this motherfucker lied to us.
Yeah,
this movie is epic.
Also, I've learned just in life in general to not hype my friends up too much.
True. You didn't,
because I've really let down some people with like the stuff that I'm into, and they're just like, "You're weird, bro."
No, but you know us, and like it was a joy getting to watch that movie for the first time with you guys. The second time you watch it, you're like, I'm enjoying it more this time.
100%. Yeah.
Just to like, you're a Middle Earth fan and an expert with some stuff, so you're telling us like, oh, this is this and this is that, and I was an idiot, and I was like, like halfway through the movie, you're like, oh, this is why they call it Helm's Deep. Adoy, like
60 minutes in, I
was like, oh,
I
this
literally
is
opened
why.
another tab and I was like, oh, I'm the dummy.
This is Helm's Deep. This is this helm. Okay.
Which is
cool.
What they would have told, what the movie told us if you would have waited like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a blast. And so like seeing that movie, that full uncut, girthy watch along is on our Patreon.
Yeah.
But each of those movies are eventually going to go to YouTube. They'll be edited down versions.
So you're watching this on a Monday. The cut down reaction for YouTube is going to go out on Friday. But we've already had our uncut reactions for Kraven the Hunter and Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim.
But we have a lot of fun movies and TV shows that we're excited that we're watching together this year. Some are going to live just on the Patreon exclusive for now. Some are going to be
don't be mad about it.
Absolutely on YouTube. Look, man. We tried, but people are. Hey, this is show. This is show business. First things first. It's show business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and just to like touch on that really quickly, last year I think overdid it a little bit.
Guy, we whiffed it. Nobody gave a shit about Dune prophecy.
Oh yeah,
that's on us.
Yeah. We chose the wrong show.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times, we try to pick things that we think we're gonna really love and the audience will really connect to and love. And sometimes the thing that we don't do, that we avoid doing, which, I don't want to do it, but we have to do it. We have to also just pay attention to how much hype there is for certain things.
Sure.
And we don't want to just exclusively follow the hype engine. But like to your point, we have to be a little bit more strategic with what we're doing on what platform. So when it came to 2025, we thought, okay, what are things that we know are going to be surefire hits on YouTube? And that's a little easier to do with the slate for what's coming out this year. And some things were like, we don't know. Let's start it on Patreon. And then if there's a huge demand for it, then we'll already have those things shot. We can just send them off for editing. And then we're good to go, and we can put them on YouTube.
Maybe for season 2.
Exactly.
We'll
or
like,
when we have like a lull and we have nothing coming out. Yeah, let's drop the 10 episodes of, whatever show.
I'm just excited to watch. Like, we have talked about and planned some of the stuff that we're definitely watching this stuff. Movies, TV shows, movies leading up to a new movie coming out in theaters this year. Some classic shows, or maybe shows that are just a couple years old or that we're going to get into. So, but it's very, very exciting.
It is.
Very exciting. A bunch of fun stuff.
I like this refocus that we're doing. I'm excited about this refocus that we're doing.
Should we name our channel Heroes Refocused?
I think actually somebody did mention that.
Bitch.
It's already too late.
Damn it.
No. Heroes Reforged is good. I think to kind of add
we're constantly reforging. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
We're on V3.
We're just
bingo
hammering that
technically,
V3, making the sword.
I feel like every year for the last 5 years we've always like tweaked something.
Yeah.
But I feel like this year might be like pretty big one where we've really sat down. We were like, okay, let's start from ground zero and like build up. What do we want to focus on?
Also, I think us refocusing on really things that are going to get the channel views is going to help the podcast immensely as well. So you'll get your reactions and you'll get a podcast.
Yeah.
So there's more content technically.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to all of it.
Damascus Steel of podcasts. Is that like a Conan the Barbarian reference? What did Mark just do? That's amazing.
Also, I love the floating
hang on. Mark, what was that?
Just constantly reforging.
Always reforging.
There you go.
Always reforging.
Yeah.
A new podcast. Yeah, exactly.
V5, V6.
Ting,
Yeah.
Just
V6A. Like, how many more of these are we going to do?
You know what? I was going to make a joke about how we should do a sexy calendar, but real talk, we should do a sexy calendar, and that should be one of the layouts. It's us shirtless with like all oiled up. And like we have hammers that are hot, and we're making weapons. That's cool.
We're literally reforging.
Yeah.
Or like a sexy steelsmith.
Working in the mines, trying to get out the ore of the. Like
that's the worst idea. That's the worst idea you've ever had, Hector. Nobody wants to see me shirtless.
Oh my God.
I do.
No.
I've seen it and I want to see it again.
I want to touch it. I want to tickle it.
You don't tell me what I like.
I doubt it. The sun hasn't seen my chest in like
since pre-pandemic
40 years. So.
I can see it anytime I close my eyes. Watch. See it right there.
That looks real good.
Yeah, maybe a calendar, but just like our heads on Photoshop bodies.
There you go. There we go.
Bingo. Damascus. Steel of podcasts.
Well, speaking of calendars, this is a good time to segue into the fact that we have a merch store.
Hey, there we go.
As of right now, if you go down the description below, you just go to shop.heroesreforged.com. It's a brand new store. We changed the vendor because I think with the last vendor, we weren't that happy with some of the quality of the merch that we were getting. So we're going to try this out. Hopefully this is better. This works out more.
Reforging.
Always reforging.
Always reforging.
The amount of times I had to go through our DNS settings to make sure that the URL would go to the right site. Anyway, it's a nightmare, but whatever.
Now people are going to be mad we don't have a sexy calendar on there as well.
One of the products that we can sell is in fact a calendar.
Oh, interesting. Wait, do they really have chanclas on there?
They have slides.
Slides?
They have slides.
Yeah.
Good enough, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take a slide.
Yeah. So it's going to be, it's a little bit of a limited merch drop to start, but obviously like I love the idea of doing some sort of like CzechXicans something, whether it's a shirt or whatever, some legacy merch. I think that's a really good idea. And then maybe theming some stuff to some of the shows and movies we're going to be watching. You know, like we did What I Is It.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Look, if this podcast takes off, we can hire a designer.
Yeah.
We know so many talented people that can help us out.
I want to just real quick for listeners, again, first time listeners and producer Mark who doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
I wish there was a camera on his face.
I kind of do too. Huh? Okay. These guys are dumb. Okay. We watched the Marvel animated show What If.
Yeah.
And the joke was we were quoting a George Lopez stand-up bit. And so we called the Marvel show
What It Is?
What It Is It.
What It Is It.
In like Jeffrey Wright's voice.
Yeah.
He's like, ask the question, what it is. It's a funny bit for us. And so we made t-shirts and people liked them.
Yeah.
That's what
People
that means.
bought them. I was so happy about that.
Those were when people would send us the pictures of them wearing their What It Is It shirt.
Great.
So good.
I love it.
What It Is It season 3 coming to Patreon. To Patreon.
It will be. So I'm excited about that because I know that like we've been talking about merch internally for like the last year.
Yeah.
And you know, we wanted to just refocus the merch a little bit, and the new service that we're using is used by a lot of other content creators and YouTubers.
Yeah.
So if they're using it consistently for the last several years, it must be good.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that everyone is very happy with it. And we'll obviously be adding stuff, and we'll have exclusive drops, and there's a mailing list you can sign up for to get updates from when we drop new things. So it's a pretty nicely oiled machine. So I'm very excited about it, and I hope that it's less work for us and we can just put the merch on there. And
I don't want to ship anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with returns.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me.
You don't like it?
Don't talk to me.
Oh, well.
What it was it, because you don't like it.
What is not what it was it. Also, we should talk about the CzechXicans channel.
Yeah.
Because now we have this channel that doesn't have, not that it doesn't have anything on it,
but
we're going to be changing what's going to go on it.
It has 8,000 wonderful subscribers.
It does, and we don't want to lose those people.
It has a cooking special.
It does.
Really good that we did. So check out that cooking special.
Yes, absolutely. But we're going to be rebranding that, and that's now going to be a shorts channel.
Yeah.
So anytime we have a really great piece of material from a podcast or a reaction, we're going to clip it out. We're going to put it on there as a short.
So far, nothing from this episode, but we'll let you guys know.
This one's a real turd.
Probably the worst one yet.
Probably.
But in the
we're
future,
a little rusty on the podcast.
In the future, we'll have some good clips.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just like an effort, a new effort we're doing, just again to kind of help promote Heroes Reforged on all platforms, just to clip out stuff from our podcast, from our reactions for YouTube, Instagram, all the platforms that we have to be on, just to be noticed.
Here's the thing. People are going to call this the worst episode because you're over there and you're over here.
I know. I'm usually
people are going to flip their
They're
shit,
flip
dude.
a lid.
Oh my God.
I know.
2025, boys.
I know.
Things got to change.
It's a new day.
It's a new day.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a brave new world. Brave new world.
Speaking of brave new world, should we talk a little bit about what our slate's going to be?
Yeah. You mean like for the podcast?
For the podcast and just for our channel overall.
We are going to be doing special. Well,
I'm excited for
I got the slate.
I'm excited for the first two epis that we're doing of this podcast.
So first two episodes. Next week we're coming back. We're coming hard.
Yeah.
Coming fast with a.
I don't like the way you said that.
I want to talk about Superman, and I want to get into it about Superman. So we're going to have a discussion next week about Superman, about the character, about why we care about this character, what it means that like there's a new Superman movie coming out this year, and then also just bigger picture, step back, like what's the DC brand right now? How do we feel about it? What do we see that's sort of coming down the pipeline? Like what are we excited about? What are we frankly nervous about? Just kind of a DC, I guess like a
State of the Union
a little bit, but I really want to talk Superman because we watched the trailer for Superman when it came out a little bit ago.
Yeah, third week of December.
And it's doing great on YouTube. I love that people want to talk about Superman. They want to get into it. But there's so many comments, and it does feel like there's more to talk about.
There is. There's more
especially if people are sort of just coming in. It's like, look, we each have a different and unique relationship to that character.
Yes.
And I just want to get into it. And I weirdly feel like there's so much pressure on that movie, right? More than most characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about why does this character have so much pressure? Why is there so much riding on this character's shoulders?
Right.
What does Superman mean to us individually? What does Superman mean to, frankly, being like a US citizen living in the United States? Because that character is very tied into American, pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
What it means for being a citizen of the world. People, everybody around the world has an idea about Superman. What it means also to be a fan of Superman when you're a man. Because I feel like there's a connective thread there that I don't know if people talk about enough. Because it's like some characters have these massive followings. And not to say that like other people can't be fans of, everyone's a fan of Superman. I know so many women. I know non-binary people that are fans of Superman, Batman, these very sort of like masculine characters. But what does that mean to be a guy and like Superman in 2025? And what's it mean to be a guy who likes Superman, but likes also when Superman is very compassionate? Like, what does that do to us, dude? Like, it's a mind fuck trying to walk through the landmines of talking about Superman on the internet and, seeing all the different types of opinions about it. So anyway, all of that next week's episode.
Yeah. And I think the other interesting thing too about Superman, just for me, and I think a lot of Superman fans, is the last time that we saw him, he wasn't necessarily accessible to all audiences.
Yes, I agree.
And that's a really important core thing that I always like to talk about and hear people talk about. Because to me, Superman, for the most part, unless it's an Elseworld story or it's like a very specific arc, he is mostly, and I'm going to use this, a 4-quadrant character.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the original Richard Donner movie.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see.
And we're not saying, by the way, too, we're not saying that like the last iteration of Superman, the sort of Henry Cavill version, it didn't hit with some audiences. It absolutely did. Yeah.
There
are people that are like,
there's a lot of things about Man of Steel that I even enjoyed.
But there are people that I remember when those movies were coming out, Man of Steel and beyond, that they were like, I never connected with this character until this.
Right.
And it's so interesting to like look at that and go, wow, how come this, for whatever reason, this audience member could not connect with a Superman? Did they not watch Smallville? Did they not watch like Superman the animated series? I know I'm describing things that are ancient at this point. I know we're old.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a bunch to talk about with that.
Yeah.
And you're also somebody who kind of came into Superman later. That's the other thing. It's so fascinating.
You poisoned your brain a little bit.
No, well, I think you guys mainly influenced my thoughts on Cap.
Great.
I really
and they're related.
Yeah.
They're related in many ways.
They're very much related in that like good guy, like Boy Scout kind of,
Because what I love about you, dude, is like you're a Wolverine guy.
Yeah.
Through and through. And it's like
Wolverine, bro.
When you talk about Wolverine, he is the quintessential 90s character.
Yeah.
And he was like overused, but god damn it, if he's not one of the best characters, like still.
Hey, he's 100%.
Sorry, he's 100%. He's up there. He's up at the top.
He's top. I mean, for me, top 1.
Yeah, dude.
But definitely, I would say most people's top 5, 10 characters.
Yeah, and I've mostly been like a Spider-Man guy in my life, and I even kind of came into. I feel like Superman is a character that when you're like a little kid, super cool, and then when you get older, it's cooler to be like, no, Superman sucks. Batman's cooler.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, not to say Batman's not
cycle
cool.
back around.
Yeah, you kind of cycle back.
That was me.
Right?
That was
you
me
go
as a
like,
kid.
actually, hang on a minute, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
To be Superman, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is interesting. This is more mature.
You gotta save some of this content for next week, my friend. Okay, you're spilling the beans here. We only got an hour. We gotta go. We gotta move.
I know. The week after this, we're gonna do Marvel. We're gonna talk about State of the Union for Marvel right now. We're going to talk about, which characters we're like super a fan of, what we think about. We've been talking about it, but like, I want to get back into, dude, they have an interesting year ahead of them in terms of like the movies and the TV shows. And, I think the thing that they might have the most pressure on, Fantastic Four.
I don't know.
I think like that's
interesting.
It's
maybe
to me it's kind of
we got to talk about it next week.
We got to talk about it's kind of 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. But anyway, we're gonna get into all that, and each week we're gonna take the opportunity to like what's on our minds right now. What's what can we look at that maybe has like a larger topic.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then go from there.
Yeah, and I think part of it is also like we want to talk about new releases. Movie reviews are kind of weird on YouTube. Sometimes for some creators, they do really, really well. And other times for other creators, they don't do that well.
Yeah.
So I think the podcast is a perfect opportunity to just use that as a vehicle to talk about new movies.
Yep.
And with this episode, the Marvel episode specifically, the hope is that we'll all have seen Captain America Brave New World.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So we can,
by then.
dive into it a little bit. And because the episode comes out after the movie is out, we can dive into a little bit of spoilers. So, I think that would be a really fun discussion too.
You just reminded me of something too. Adam came up with this idea while we were driving over here. So for next week's episode, here's a call to action right here for our amazing Discord community, which you can be a part of. I think that's also part of the Patreon, correct? If you join our Discord, head into our Discord, check it out. If you want to join, we're asking folks in that community, if you have any burning questions about DC or Superman, something specifically honed into Superman or DC, hit us with those questions. I don't know if we have a designated spot for that in our Discord. We'll make one.
It'll be there.
It'll be there.
We have amazing mods that will help us out.
So we're gonna do that. And if you're watching this right now and you're like, actually, I want to hear these guys talk about this, or I have a question about Superman about this, or I'm feeling this way about the trailer, go ahead and shoot us that question in our Discord, and we will grab some or more and talk about them next week.
Yeah.
So that's a fun way to incorporate Discord.
It will be fun. I'm looking forward to all the discussions about both universes, but also to see how the conversations evolve throughout the year. Because we normally will speculate on some things, and somehow
we've been right.
Power of God.
We've been right.
We've been right a lot.
What do you mean we're geniuses?
Predicting that Charlie Cox would be, or Matt Murdock would be Peter Parker's lawyer in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Was that your idea?
That
might have been Adam's.
Yeah. You predicted the Zodiac Riddler in the Batman years before. Yeah. And our audience notices those things, because they'll message us and they're like, look at the time code you predicted this.
I'm glad they do, because I don't remember any of our conversations. So
this is we're calling this episode 0 of the Heroes Reforged podcast.
Yeah.
At this point, over 10 years, we've probably done 10,000 podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, if you count our weekly episodes over the past 10 years,
it's been a lot.
I give ourselves,
so it's hard to keep track of.
I want to give ourselves credit where credit is due, but I also want to say, sometimes it bugs me when I see scooper culture on the internet, where they'll be like, look at this scooper predicting what's going to happen with this Marvel property, and I'll read it and I'll go, if you know these characters or these comic books, that's not I could have said that.
I don't have a crystal ball,
but I'm like, but this is an estimated guess, because it's, when they're like, oh, it looks like Young Avengers is now going to be a movie, and I'm like, that kind of thing.
Take the credit, bro.
Okay,
credit, bro.
I want to
a soothsayer.
I want to do 50%.
You're fucking Gandalf of this shit, dude.
50%. Yes, that's us. We'll take the credit because we have passion about these characters, or we have some knowledge or whatever. But the other 50% is just read a comic book, bro.
I know. That's the moral of the story is read a comic book, use Google.
These scoopers coming in with it turns out that Secret Wars is probably going to deal with multiversal characters from other universes. I'm what a scoop.
Where'd you get that one from?
Wikipedia? Where'd you get that? You read the synopsis for a comic book that you haven't read yet? No shit, dude. That's not a scoop.
How many of the Palantir have you collected? You know this shit.
That's a good reference.
This is another day in the park for us.
This is going to be the Lord of the Rings reference.
Good, man.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Your references are out of control, bro. That's a great reference. That's a great reference.
Just talking about the slate a little bit, for 2025, again, some shows are going to live on Patreon. Some of them are going to go to Patreon and YouTube.
Okay.
Here's quarter 1. Let's be real corporate about this.
Yeah.
Quarter 1, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's, as of this recording, it's going to be
Patreon.
Out tonight.
Patreon, yeah. We got to watch it.
We got some catching up to do.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. We've also got Invincible Season 3, which we already have reactions for Seasons 1 and 2. Go watch our interview with Bobby Kirks. And then, of course, the big one, I think, Daredevil Born Again, which I almost feel like that has more pressure on it than Fantastic Four in a lot of ways.
Oh, well, you might be right. I could see that argument. That's a good debate. That's a good debate to have. But no, you know what? I might. No.
Hey, save it. Save it for the up. Save it for the up.
I disagree respectfully, but this is good.
That's fine.
This is a good debate.
That's
fine. A good conversation to have.
So those are series reactions. Of course, there's a lot of stuff coming out this year, so the list is long.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share the whole list here because things might change. For movie reactions, we already mentioned Kraven, The Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Done.
And we're also going to do, not Daredevil, the show from Netflix, because that's 39 episodes of time we don't have.
Yeah, we did the math.
We're going to do Daredevil from 2003 with good old Ben Affleck.
Oh,
Wake me up. Wake me up inside. I can't wake up.
Wake me up inside.
We saw Ben Affleck today.
We did.
We saw him in person.
Yeah, we did. That was fun.
Sacapuntas.
Every time I hear Ben Affleck, I think
favorite word in Spanish.
Did you see that clip, though?
Of course.
It's amazing.
His Spanish is phenomenal.
No. There's a clip where he was at Amoeba record store, maybe yesterday.
Oh, really?
And some Latina, God bless him, was recording their friend, and this Latina woman just came up to him And like he kind of looked over and smiled, and then he laughed and goes sacapuntas, and then she walks away. All she did was go up to him and say sacapuntas,
That's
and he went
incredible.
sacapuntas and walked away. So here's the thing:
He knows.
don't bother celebrities, but if you
That-
have something like that in your back pocket, I bet you that's their favorite
Yeah.
Yeah.
interaction. Like,
Jason Mantzoukas did smile when I waved at him.
hey,
There you go.
all right.
He was
There you
driving.
go.
I was crossing the street and he was driving by and he was at the stoplight and I waved and he just smiled and waved.
That's
Nice.
cool.
This is nice.
That's
Their
awesome.
favorite celebrity interaction is like an acknowledgement. Hey, I like you. Go away.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
woman,
it.
You're like,
that woman that went sacapuntas, and for him to laugh and go sacapuntas, and then they walked away from each other.
Yeah.
Great.
I will say,
Cool.
I feel bad because, so the week of the fires, I went to my in-laws' house in Coachella Valley,
Mhm.
went to a coffee shop. The great and magical Bill Burr was there ordering a coffee. There was
Are
like
you
4 people in
serious?
there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And
What's he doing there? He's too white to be out there. It's so hot.
I don't know what he was doing
It's
there.
so hot.
I don't know what he was
he
doing
was
there.
turning red while he was
That
standing
dude-
there.
I think he was
That dude is
evacuating from the
Boston
fires.
white.
Oh.
I think he might have been evacuating
be
from the
right.
fires,
Yeah.
but I didn't think of this when I saw him.
Oh.
So I went in front of him. I shook his hand. I was like, Bill Burr, huge fan.
Yeah, man.
And that's it. And he was like, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And then went our separate ways, right?
Dipped out?
And then when I
good,
turned
good.
around, I'm like, oh, fuck. He's probably out here evacuating just
Hey.
like I am.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so
In the
I feel
moment,
bad.
you don't
You
think
I
weren't
feel
an
bad.
asshole.
No, I wasn't.
weren't
I
like-
love Bill Burr. What are you talking
I know.
about?
Yeah.
Bill Burr's incredible.
Yeah.
But I just feel bad because I was like, oh, I should have asked how
bet
his
you-
house
Yeah.
was.
But also,
But it's
listen,
fine. He's talked about it. It's fine.
I bet you that he would not have appreciated that sort. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's
yeah,
hard.
I, you
Yeah,
know,
you
I
never
didn't
know,
know.
right?
I didn't know.
It's a weird thing with fandom because I've seen. I was also at a convention and I saw with lovely fans, well-meaning, go up and they see like their favorite like
Mhm,
actor or
mhm.
something, and then they would go, "Oh, right, you're in LA. By the way, how's this?" And it's like,
Yeah.
an actor might not necessarily want to get into that.
That's true. Right,
And
right,
that-
right.
you know, so like,
Yeah.
no, dude, you're fine. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bill Burr. Thanks for being nice.
Shout out to Bill Burr.
Come be a guest.
Yeah, apology. Yeah, we want to ask you about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Let's
and
do
then
it.
and then when he left and I went to order my coffee, that the woman who was checking me out or ordering
Oh,
my coffee.
Yeah, she was.
Ordering
Brag,
the coffee,
okay.
she was like, "Who's that?" I was like,
Bill
"You guys
Burr,
don't know
lady.
who Bill Burr is? Get out of
Coachella
here!"
Valley. How deep in
Coachella
the valley
Valley.
are you?
Maybe
Yeah,
that's why he
Coachella.
goes there because nobody
Yeah.
knows who Bill Burr is.
He probably
in
saw you
Coachella
like
Valley.
this asshole's from
Yeah.
LA.
I think I was wearing my Dodgers hat. So
Oh
yeah,
my
for sure.
God.
Great.
Yeah.
Sore thumb over here.
Yeah, this guy.
That's funny. Yeah, he does go out there because nobody knows
Yeah,
who he is.
Exactly.
Nobody out there watches Star Wars, watches stand up.
No, no, no.
For sure.
All right. Any other announcements we have?
Yeah, so
Anything else?
obviously we're also going to be doing trailer reactions. That's, part of it for whatever movie comes out. And then the final thing, we're going to do some specials. We already talked about hopefully doing
They're in
something
the-
live.
They're in the schedule. Oh
They're
no,
in the
not the live ones.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
the live ones.
We
Live?
are.
Yeah.
We are doing more cooking specials this
Cooking
year.
Special 2 and 3 happening
And
this
4.
year.
And 4.
All
Yeah,
right.
we have
Three,
got
baby.
3
I
scheduled.
forgot.
this
Three.
year.
We already got
Okay,
them
okay.
scheduled. They're going to come out later on in the year because they are a little bit of like a high lift, a little bit more involved production.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that they're good and we want to do them and get them turned around in a appropriate amount of time and make sure that they come out and they're going to be themed and it's a whole thing and it'll be a lot of fun. But stay tuned for
I'm
more
just
information
excited
on
to
that.
taste more of Hector's food.
Yeah.
I know.
So
So
excited.
fun.
I'm
To give
so
people an
excited.
idea of what I made, I was the subject of the first cooking special.
Yeah.
I don't cook at all. I made these
That was
motherfuckers.
kind of the joke.
I made these motherfuckers huevos con weenies. Okay.
And
Yeah.
Slapped.
And it was
It was
great.
good. It was really
and then
good.
Your
But-
appetizer, the appetizer
yeah.
was like cereal. Like
Yeah.
I
No,
was like,
Elevated.
Elevated cereal with fresh cut strawberries.
Yes,
in it.
and you use the high quality weenies too.
Yeah.
I did.
That's
Save a
the key.
German.
Yeah.
I did. I got some like.
I did see a putty tat.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Almost burnt the eggs, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Which
Wow.
is good.
You maybe torched a tortilla or two.
Yeah.
Guys,
but-
if all this sounds
for sure.
fun, check out the cooking special on the
Yeah.
CzechXicans YouTube
You
channel.
know what? Maybe we should
let's
just
just
re-upload
republish
it.
it. Re-
Yeah,
to Heroes
we'll republish
Reforged.
it.
We'll do it like
Yeah.
a month or so before the
Yeah.
next one comes out.
Disclaimer: we do talk a lot about Kang on that episode.
Oh yeah, Can the
We
Conqueror.
do.
No, I
No,
nuked
we
a lot
don't?
of that.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
great.
okay, there you
I
go.
got a lot of that
Yeah,
out.
it's gone then.
That's fine.
That's fine.
When did we film it? We filmed it like 2 years ago.
no.
No.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's I think in
Was
the
that
summer
20
it was
years
2
already?
years.
2023.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you please bear with us if
God,
there isn't
2023 was 2 years ago. I want to
Yes.
throw up.
If there's any dated references,
barf.
we're sorry.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up here with our
Yeah.
first episode 0,
Mhm.
we got to do a cool thing this morning at Netflix.
We have been busy all day running
Yeah.
around LA.
Very
Yeah.
cool. We saw Ben Affleck in person. We saw Tina Fey. Bay, John Mulaney.
Yeah. Spider-Ham himself.
John Mulaney, Spider.
The Duffer Brothers.
We had a really
the Duffer
cool
Brothers,
little video message from Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Guillermo. Love him.
And we got to see some first footage of his Frankenstein live action movie.
God.
Dude.
Banger.
That's the other thing too. We're definitely going to put in more effort too to watch like new films from streaming.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
and Frankenstein, which doesn't come out till the fall, so we got time.
Yeah.
That I think is going to be awesome.
It looks fantastic.
It looks gory and sad and scary and
have you guys ever
heartfelt.
I mean, we'll save it for a later episode too, but like have you guys ever like gotten into the sort of original Mary Shelley?
Not the original.
I read it
original.
and it's great, dude.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite thing about OG Frank, like just the original concept of Frankenstein. And we talked about this because we were watching Creature Commandos, where the monster and stuff is a character. But like I didn't know this because when you absorb regular Frankenstein media, it's fire bad.
Yeah.
You know, he's like that's how he talks.
Two-note.
The original book, he is like a fully eloquent, brilliant monster who like knows he's a monster, but in so many ways he has more of a soul than that's the whole point of the thing.
Yeah.
He has more of a soul than Victor Frankenstein, and like he's like diabolical, but he's also like just so depressed and like he has a vibe of like I didn't ask to be born. It's so
just
relatable.
Like
You're like
sounds like everyone in this room right
like,
now.
Go off, Queen. Like I agree. Like life is hard. Like this is all messed up. And what I loved about the original book, and they showed it was a little tiny clip of it at the end of this sort of trailer we saw, is that the whole original book, it has a framing device of end caps that are like, he has been chased down around the ends of the earth by the creator, Victor Frankenstein. And he's like hiding in the Arctic, and he like tells his story to the reader with this sort of like almost a final confrontation kind of a thing. Or maybe he's chasing Victor himself. I don't know. It's just like so crazy because he's like, you open and it's the monster being like, you ain't gonna believe this shit. Let me tell you this whole life.
Down.
Let me tell you about what's going on.
You know, it's great. It's really great. So like they show that because he was in like a cabin and like was talking to somebody, and he's huge too.
Enormous.
Anyway,
the big boy.
Very excited about
that. Was a really fun event.
Yeah.
We got to see behind the scenes and like first looks at a ton of the upcoming shows and movies that they're doing, including Stranger Things 5, the final season.
Looks good.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. So it was a cool presentation. We got to do one last year for the animation slate, and that was also incredibly fun.
Honestly, I had more fun at the animation
Yeah.
slate, but I'm an animation guy.
Right.
So like,
but also it was like Terminator Zero. And incredible.
And they had, and no shade to John Mulaney, he's great, but they had Nathan Lane at that animation.
True, they did have
Nathan Lane's
Nathan Lane.
hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, and it was interesting too because we're talking about like my relationship with Netflix is that I truthfully don't use it a ton. I use it when we watch stuff, but they're doing so much, and they're doing so much, and they're also trying to tap into like live streaming, interactive stuff with sports and games. I'm intrigued. I won't say I'm impressed, but I'm intrigued because if I say I'm impressed, we did so much of that stuff on Twitch years ago.
Yeah, Netflix.
So catch up. But it's cool. I'm curious to see how like all that stuff turns out. But yeah, really cool presentation.
Yep.
But
Adam and I got to go.
My God.
Augustine couldn't make it. He had a prior engagement.
Yep.
But in the middle of the day today, we went and checked out a VR video game experience thing that was called Alien
Rogue Incursion.
And I didn't quite get like when it was supposed to be set in the sort of larger story of Alien, but
I didn't either.
It was sick, dude. They strapped us into the Meta Quest 3 or whatever,
headset, with
where
controls.
this game has already been out for the PlayStation VR and
PC
PC VR devices, but this is going to be coming out soon for whatever the Meta thing is.
Yeah.
But it was dope, dude. Like you have the full two things and you're doing stuff and we're holding guns and you had to fire like this, and I died once, you died twice.
I died twice, yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was incredibly fun. And you know, like I'm one of those guys, like I'm still am hyped up when I play Crash Bandicoot 1.
Yeah, dude.
You know, so I'm not I'm not a modern gamer.
Yeah.
But like that was such a fun experience to like pull out your gun and drop it and reload and do all that stuff. Challenging at times because you have to remember the very specific controls on how to do something.
Yeah.
But it was really, really cool.
Once you get into it, I was getting into it, dude. I was like,
absolutely.
Before the helper, because they had helpers there, because they don't know who's a gamer or not.
Right.
You know, it's like influencers showed up and they had to be like, how comfortable are you with like VR? Like, have you done any of this? And I was like, girl, we've been doing Beat Saber. I was like, we've done it.
You're like,
I've been VR.
Bitch, I grew up on the Virtual Boy. What do you know about the Virtual Boy? The
we're
red
old.
screen.
Look at the gray in my beard.
Yeah.
We're ready. They're like, do you get sick, motion sick? We're like, no. Nobody
I've
puked,
been on
apparently.
Star Tours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done Star Tours.
I did Back to the Future at Universal.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you never even heard of that.
Yeah. Like, we've been doing VR since before you.
For a long time.
Since the Gold Rush.
Ever heard of Tron? That's how old we are. Yeah, that was our experience.
Ever heard of Captain EO?
Yeah.
I was there. I was
Get
there.
off of me. Let me go.
believe-
I've done Captain EO.
But before we even went in there, they had like a little walk through haunted maze.
Yeah, they spooked me.
And it
Oh.
scared the shit out of us. It
Yeah.
was pretty great.
Interesting.
Dude, they had like green acid coming down from a
Nice.
pipe,
Yeah.
going into like a tub. And, it was just like funky colored water.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh shit. It looked
Yeah,
cool.
it was kind of gunky. I got it on my phone and I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh,
no,
it wasn't
no.
just water.
No. It was
And then they
definitely
had-
like Nickelodeon, like
Yeah.
Gack in
Gack.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like phosphorescent,
Yeah.
radioactive green.
Yeah.
It was all black lights and stuff. But then,
Yeah.
and they also had
Very
little
cool.
drinkies. So we got a little alcohol-y drink
Okay,
to get a little bravery.
which we were supposed to do that last.
Oh, oops.
Nah.
We were supposed to go to the VR experience first and then go get the
That's
drinks.
why
and
we were
like,
struggling.
nah.
We were like, how do you reload? How do you?
What was it? What's why?
But they fooled me because they had this little hallway and they had like a very fake mannequin dead body
Mhm.
of like, oh, like a construction worker got killed by the alien.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, watch out, Adam, that's a dead body. And then they had another guy in the corner and I walked and the guy was like, watch out. And it was like a real guy. I was like, damn it, you got me. You got me. Damn
So
it.
we're going to Halloween Horror Nights. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
know.
and then
Okay.
they actually had a hydraulic xenomorph that like popped out at
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Oh,
It
nice.
was
Okay.
We were like, whoa.
very fun.
Sounds
Very
like
very
fun.
fun.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It was a really cool way to just kind of get you into the mood to play that.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun experience. I mean, we walked out of there and we talked about, man, we should just get a MetaQuest 3 and just maybe do like an Alien Rogue Incursion stream.
Listen,
That'd be
man.
fun.
I love rhythm games. I'll do Beat Saber all day long.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If Mark Zuckerberg, in his attempt to be more masculine, wants our validation, send us the shit. Send us
For free,
MetaQuest
dog.
for free.
For free.
You can
Free.
afford it.
Yeah.
Zuck. You can
Yeah.
afford it. You can afford it. Send us. I was about to
Three?
say 3. No, send us 6 MetaQuest
Okay,
there you
3s.
go.
6 is good.
And,
Six
in
is
case
good.
we break one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then
in
we'll
case
do
we have
it.
friends over.
Yeah.
we'll give you the validation you need, Mark Zuckerberg. You are a manly man.
Manly man who
Masculine energy.
smokes meats.
So cool.
Yeah.
he's so
cool, right?
cool.
Yeah.
He's a big dork. I'm sorry. He's a big dorky dork.
I don't know. I think people picked up on your sarcasm.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I can't read human emotions, so thank you for being clear." Yes, you're a
We've
dork.
got 6 on the way. And then he gets to the end of the video. He's like, cancel that order.
right over, Mr.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was cool, and now
Yeah.
we're here, and this is a
Now we're
full
here.
day of
Very,
stuff
very
we've
much
been
full
doing.
day. Yeah.
Busy day.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. It's so nice to just be in a room with you guys again because
Yeah.
again, it's been a while since we've got to do this. And I think the appeal, we would talk about, eventually love to get to a point where we could do all of our reactions in the same room too.
That'd be great.
There is a lot of the flexibility of being able to do it all remotely is great, especially for something like a trailer reaction.
yeah,
It is not worth it to drive across Los Angeles
Yeah.
to do a 2-minute trailer.
yeah,
No.
for sure.
But for like an hour-long show every week or whatever, if we get screeners, that's fine.
Blind Wave, how do you do it? Let us
Yeah.
know.
I think they all just live together.
Okay, great.
Compound
Probably.
style.
They have a compound.
I don't know.
most
Also,
likely.
before we dip out real quick, I would like to know, because we were talking about games, and
Yeah.
I was asking, we were asking Augustine about it beforehand. What are you playing right now? Because you're playing some cool
Wait,
stuff.
what are
Give us
you
the list,
guys?
baby.
First, what are you
I'm
guys
not-
playing? Nothing.
I'm playing.
I'm playing Heroes Reforged Editor.
Yeah. When I have time, I'm playing a little bit of the Polymega, which is
Oh,
really
yeah,
great.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys know
we
about
gotta
that.
do more of that.
sponsorship.
Yeah, I want that sponsorship so bad.
Yeah.
But the Polymega is a beautiful all-in-one device. Lets
Yeah.
me play Crash Bandicoot 1
And
Suck on
Battletoads.
and
this.
Battletoads.
One right
and-
after the other.
Apocalypse.
and
Apocalypse.
PS1 games and N64 and Super Nintendo, and
Mhm.
so I've been playing around with that a little bit when I can.
You got to get some Twisted Metal on there.
I know, dude. Oh, trust me.
Oh, you
I'm-
don't have Twisted Metal?
not yet. I will get it.
Okay.
I promise you.
All right.
I'm
Twisted
getting-
Metal 2, I think, is my favorite.
Okay.
Anyway.
PlayStation 1, there's so many games you
I
can
know.
on PlayStation 1.
It's
So
never
I'm working
ending.
on it. But you were playing a little bit of Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
I came over to your
Little bit.
house and you were playing Shifu.
Sifu.
Sifu. Not Shifu.
Not
Shifu.
Sifu. Yeah, after we saw Secret Level, I was like, oh, I need to get this game. And it was on sale. So,
Yeah.
hell yeah, 50% off.
It's a cool
Nice.
game.
I'm a sucker for a deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm playing that. I'm playing a little bit of Hollow Knight.
That's a great
having
game,
a
too.
very tough time with it.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's a very hard game because they don't give you any directions on where to go. And I had trouble with that. So I also played Elden Ring all the way through from the first game all the way through the second DLC.
It's a good gamer.
But I went through with Fighting Cowboy on YouTube. Shout out to Fighting Cowboy on YouTube. He's a big gamer.
Somebody giving you some tips and shit?
Basically, he's walking you through the game to get the platinum trophy at the end.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
So I did. It took me like 200 hours.
I just don't feel bad, dude. I have a friend who she just got a Nintendo Switch. And
I know who your friend is.
Yep. And because she was like, of course, for so many reasons, 2025, it's already in the toilet. It's a horrible, horrible time. So it's like, look, I need escapism. And she's getting into like cozy gamers on YouTube. So she goes, I want to try the Nintendo Switch. She bought her first one. She got Breath of the Wild, Zelda, which is a perfect
And you gave her the book.
And she was like, I'm struggling. I said, hang on a minute. I'll be over tomorrow. And I let her borrow the strategy guide. And I said, some people consider this cheating. Some people consider it like necessary. I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's just about like, you crack it open and read a little and go, oh, okay, this is how you do this. All right, I'm good. Yeah. I'll go try it out on my own and then just go from there. So, that's the type of gamer I am too. Yeah. I don't mind a nice book to come along with a game.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. If I didn't have Fighting Cowboys walkthrough of the game, I would have given up.
Yeah,
I would have never gotten past the first area.
Some people love that sort of torturous, like, dude, I did this on my own. That's amazing.
Nah.
And if there are people listening to us right now being like, you guys use whatever sort of help.
Yeah.
If you're mad about that, like, dude, go outside.
Go touch
I don't know what to tell you.
Unsubscribe. Get out of here, bro.
It's my gaming experience. Like, it's it's anyway. So yeah, I consider it the same as like, if you watch a nerdy movie and you're like, I didn't understand all the references.
Yeah.
Let me watch a new Rockstar's breakdown to let me know all the stuff that I missed. The same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Not everybody knows everything, dude. It's impossible.
I know. It's impossible.
We really
anyway,
don't.
So
anyways,
maybe we'll be able to do some more gaming in the future.
Yeah, if you guys would like to see us do more gaming, let us know. And if there's any other things that maybe you think we'd be interested in doing on the channels, definitely let us know about that too. But if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever your podcasts are sold, reminder, like, rate it, leave a comment, tell us how bad we are. Thank you so much. If you guys are watching on YouTube, of course, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment, and just let us know, what you're excited about the things that we're covering this year. There's going to be a lot, so look forward to it, and consider checking out our Patreon as well. You get Discord access. The community is amazing. Our mods are incredible. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for your support and for always being there for us. And stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be covering DC. It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
Union, baby.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Heroes Reforged is gonna react. Heroes Reforged is gonna review. Heroes Reforged is gonna discuss. That's why we are watching